country club Christian, I'm a zealot. Truth's gonna hurt, man, I ain't tryna sell it. And if you think you can refute it, you'll regret it. Cause that's the way it is, like it is, how I tell it. Ain't a country club Christian, I'm a zealot. Truth's gonna hurt, man, I ain't tryna sell it. And if you think you can refute it, you'll regret it. Cause that's the way it is, like it is, how I tell it.
Okay, firstly, I gotta address apologetics. It doesn't make sense, I'm not sorry, I don't get it. The fact that he was crucified means that we're all indebted. We should demand to have a culture that doesn't soon forget it. Every knee shall bow, every tongue shall confess it. Christ is king, listen up, get the message. The time is short, the deception is impressive. The church itself is corrupted and wretched. They preach about grace, no righteousness expected. God gaze at the pulpit because their sin is accepted. The devil calls, they don't even try to reject it. They're employed by Satan, they are tax exempted.
Ain't a country club Christian, I'm a zealot. Truth's gonna hurt, man, I ain't tryna sell it. And if you think you can refute it, you'll regret it. Cause that's the way it is, like it is, how I tell it. Ain't a country club Christian, I'm a zealot. Truth's gonna hurt, man, I ain't tryna sell it. And if you think you can refute it, you'll regret it. Cause that's the way it is, like it is, how I tell
It's
it.
neither land of the free, nor is it home of the brave. When you got people here killing babies every day, and all the Christians here think that they can get away if they throw a couple bucks into the bucket on Sunday. But I don't think that that's the way it works. He said to seek the kingdom and his righteousness first. But you wanna grab a handbag, a Rolex, and what's worse, you think that you deserve it, but the bubble's about to burst. It's time to rise, sell the cloak for a weapon. Got the sword in my left, in the right, Smith & Wesson. And I don't think it's wise for you to try to be testing. If you become a Goliath, then I'ma teach you a lesson. It's apostasy, and what the cost will be is the people in the church and state accosting me. But I'm speaking honestly, you are not the boss of me, because I only give allegiance to the one true king. And I don't care if we burn down this whole country, cause it's wretched and rusty and rotten, stupid and ugly. And I got no love for churches and preachers set up above me, cause their democracy's about to be replaced with monarchy.
Ain't a country club Christian, I'm a zealot. Truth's gonna hurt, man, I ain't tryna sell it. And if you think you can refute it, you'll regret it. Cause that's the way it is, like it is, how I tell it.
What
Ain't a country
is
club Christian, I'm a
up,
zealot.
everybody?
Truth's gonna hurt, man, I ain't
Welcome
tryna sell it.
back
And if you
to the Main Character Podcast, level 67. Made possible by the Cult of Khan, that's you guys, and powered by the Christian Dominion Movement. Because the truth should not only be declared, it should be imposed. How we doing tonight, everybody? Wednesday, hump day. We are halfway through the work week, and it is feeling good, but it's also feeling crazy. Guys, it has been, several weeks now since I've been back live on the channel, and that is on the tail of a bunch of technical problems, which I'm sure all of you guys know all about by now. But just for those of you guys who are just now catching up with us here on the channel, I don't know if it was the last 2 or 3 streams, but I tried to go on Ceiling Fan Man's show. We had all kinds of problems. He tried to come onto my show. We had all kinds of problems. I tried to do Sunday service 2 weeks ago, and the power went out just in my area. So it's been a little bit crazy, a little bit weird. I was getting so run down, man. I was like, with the last month has been crazy. Okay, that's the only way to explain it. The last month has been unhinged. And I thought I was going to crash out. So I took a week off, went and saw some sites, took a little bit of time off. We premiered a couple of episodes. It was a little bit of a change, you know. Times change, things change. You know how it is. It's this inevitable part of life. And unfortunately, sometimes with change, you know, people come and go too. And that's kind of part of the whole journey that we're on. You know, some people stick around, some people come, and some people go. And it's an interesting thing to observe. I haven't changed much as a person, but I can tell you that even just, I can feel it in the air right now. Things are changing, and things are going to be changing around here too. I've had a bit of a metamorphosis over the last couple of weeks that I haven't seen you guys, and so I'm very excited to talk more about how that change is happening. I think a lot of you who've been following me for a while now know kind of where this is going, and there's so many interesting things to discuss. But before we do that, why don't we do our honorary greeting, say hi to everybody in the chat, which is something that I have not gotten to do in forever, and I'm just so glad to have all of you guys here yet again for another level of the Main Character Podcast. It is really an honor to be here with you guys. This is like my favorite thing to do during the week. I forget sometimes because of all the hustle and bustle, how nice it is just to get together with the community, chill out, vent a little bit, maybe have a vein bulging rant. We might see a little bit of that tonight, so you know, keep that in mind, you know. What is up, everybody? It's great to have you, and of course, I hope to see all of your honks in the chat. It's great to see you guys. Let's go ahead and start up here. We'll see if we can get everybody. I know it's like been busy tonight for sure. I don't know where it started. Of course, we see all the way at the top, we've got Spirit and Truth, Wendy. Good to see you, Wendy. Wendy is one of the moderators here on our channel. Awooga. We got to give that the customary awooga. Yeah. So Wendy is the captain of the Big Blimpin' Party Blimp, which is the expanded transportation vehicle. We have too many Kool-Aid drinking weirdos on the party bus now, so we had to get a blimp for to expand. Perhaps one day we'll end up with like an aircraft carrier or something for landing our blimps. It'll be a little bit different. It'll be like retrofit for our airships, but you know what I'm saying. Anyway, great to see you, Wendy. We also have Adrienne. It's good to see you, Adrienne. We also have Mama Khan. She said she did not get a notification. Well, what else is new? In case you guys didn't know, this is the cutting edge of conspiracy theory content on YouTube, and I don't say that lightly. I am willing to say the things that I'm not supposed to say. In fact, that's part of the metamorphosis. It's going to start to get worse, so now you might as well just disassociate, disavow me now before it's too late, because eventually everyone will be like, no, you used to watch that. Here's a screenshot of you in the live stream, and you will be attached to me, and I will be the disease, and you will not be able to escape. So disavow me now. Hit the unsubscribe button. Make sure that notification bell is turned off so you miss all of the updates. Stacy Sala, welcome in. It's great to see you. We also have Mrs. Samantha Parker. Welcome, welcome. We also have Brother Val. Good to see you, Brother Val. And Half Truth. That is the Mr. Parker. Peter Parker. Not really. If your name was Peter, that'd be hilarious, though. You should have a son and name him Peter. That'd be amazing. Oh, great. So these are the early birds. It's great to see all of you guys. We also have Beth Fisher. Welcome in, Beth. Can't stay long, but I was excited to pop by for a few. Well, it's going to be a vein bulger. Hope to see you around. Hope you'll catch up later, because you may appreciate it. Who knows? Beth says, I'll wait for the man of the hour. It's good to have you, Beth, even for just a brief minute, and I hope that you'll get a chance to catch up. But if not, it's great to have you here. Everybody always likes to see you, and community is pretty great here. I feel like I can say that. We also have Cage Fighter. Welcome in, Cage Fighter. I know how you are. I know that your customary greeting is the long honk. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, moving on. Saying hi to everybody. Try to get caught up quick here. We got Pearl. Welcome, Pearl. It's great to have you, as always. We'll try to get caught up quick because I got a lot to say tonight, and we'll see if I can get it all. I actually wrote notes this time. I do that sometimes when I know that I have a lot to say and I just don't want to miss any of my main points. Because there's a couple of really interesting things I want to say tonight, Welcome, Amelia. It is great to have you. All of our regulars seem to be here, which it makes me happy. I'm glad that all of you guys are here. Pam Crane says, I just got my note, meaning that the notifications are going out. So it's like, we're doing okay. There's been a lot of wonky YouTube stuff lately. I'm sure you guys have seen like a bunch of like undead YouTube channels. They've like risen from the grave as zombies, but you're still subscribed to them somehow. It's like, what is going on over there at corporate? They're like, look, we're losing to Rumble. All those conspiracy theorists and Kool-Aid drinkers are over there on Rumble right now. We need them back. Release the ban. Drop the ban hammer. Let everyone back in. Great to see you, Pam Crane. We also have Coday. Welcome in, Coday. Good to have you, my friend. We also have Jamie Escoto. Thank you, Jamie and family. You guys are really great, and I appreciate you again for the gift cards and all the support you guys have given us. That is just so wonderful. You guys are the best. We also have Hokma, my good friend, Hokma. It has been a wonderful week, I have to tell you. Whenever I think of wisdom, I think of Hokma. My good friend. It's always good to have you, my man. Welcome in. Let's see. Where are we? Are we almost there? We have all of our usuals. I hope I don't miss anybody. We're starting to get to where everyone else is going to start rolling in. We got Robert Allen, my friend. Welcome in. It's great to have you here with us as well. I see we got Awooga from Pearl. I'll hit that one more time. You guys love Awooga. Everybody loves that. My pirated Pond 5 by Shutterstock sound effect. Eventually, something will come back to haunt me, but I'm such a rule breaker. I hate rules. I know that rules exist for a reason, but not dumb rules. Dumb rules exist for a dumb reason. Yeah, they say some rules are meant to be broken. Dumb ones. It's just a noise. You can't have copyright on a sound effect. What? Imagine that. That's crazy. We got Chris T in the house. What's good, fam? Good to see you, brother. I'm glad to have you here with us tonight. And I think we're just about caught up with everybody so we can get down to the meat and potatoes. Oh, great. It's Amy. Good to see you. I'm glad you made it. Oh, we also got Brother Bruce. Hey. And Black Sheep. LOL release call. All right, guys. It's great to have you. I think we're in store for a bit of an interesting night tonight. I'm going to do my best to not lose it. I have been, as I said, going through a bit of a metamorphosis. I didn't realize, but I did not have the chat up the entire time. I was like saying hi to all of you guys, but now you're on the screen so everybody can enjoy all the beautiful insights that you guys have while I go off on what I've written down to share with you guys tonight. Now, before we get any farther, let me first take a moment to thank all of our wonderful supporters over on patreon.com/thecultofcon. Thank you guys for sticking with me and for everything that we're doing. I know things have changed. We've had ups and downs. I know I don't always say the nicest or the best things, but I really appreciate you guys for choosing to continue to support the channel and whatever development we have in that regard. And there are some amazing things coming. That's part of the reason why I've been so busy lately. We do have a brand new series, or a brand new episode of the Cult of Cars series, which is coming soon to Patreon, which will be available for all members, including the free. And then we do have a special video of an arts and crafts project, I think would be the best way to describe what it is. And that's coming soon as well to Patreon, and I think we'll make that members only for a little bit, just as a way to kind of give something to our supporters, our paid supporters, and eventually everything works its way back out and comes out on YouTube. There was like a Cult of Cars release that I did on the YouTube channel where we took the first episode that was Patreon only, and now that it's been a few months, it's now on the regular YouTube channel. So eventually everything will work its way. That's kind of how we plan to do it, is everything will circulate out to the public for free on YouTube. But if you're interested in supporting the channel, there's an opportunity for you to do that there, or otherwise, if you just want to be a part of that weird little gathering over there on Patreon, you can send me a message on the chat room or whatever you want to do. Ask me a question. I'm totally game. I don't go on there very much, but if you start harassing me over there, I'll go on there. You're like, hey, Connor, check your Patreon. I'm like, okay, all right, I'll take it out. But for sure, definitely a chance to hang out over there. So we appreciate all of you guys for all of that. And let me make sure I don't miss out on anything important. Let's see. Oh, I won the pumpkin carving contest at my work, which is pretty cool because the prize included like some candy and like Powerade and like, you know, just little stuff, and bragging rights, of course. I do have a picture of the pumpkin. I will post it this week on the just the post. I'll share it with you guys so you can appreciate it. Not everybody wants to celebrate Halloween. I'm not really celebrating. Just whatever. I'm not trying to justify my behavior to anybody. The gift card prize is this lovely Jimmy John's gift card, and I have not had Jimmy John's on the channel. I don't think that we've done a video of Jimmy John's for Guys Gotta Eat. So Guys Gotta Eat incoming. Let's go. Thank you, team over there at the workplace, and thank you, Lord, for my pumpkin carving skills, I guess. Let's go. All right, let's touch on one last thing here before we get started on the meat and taters. We've got the thumbnail for tonight's video. Obviously, a lot of you guys already saw this, but I just wanted to share with you guys the inspirado for tonight's art, tonight's material, what we're talking about tonight, which is the pie in the sky. And for those of you guys who are familiar, that is our CDM logo, but it has been transmutated into a giant flying pie, and as you can see, I am dressed as the Pope, delivering the I'm the mediator of the incoming pie. Anyway, there's some stuff to unpack about it, and I'll share you guys what I'm talking about. But before we do that, let me take a moment to mention that we did, you know, based on this Pope outfit, we did do an episode, Wendy and I, last week, about vampires and the undead Pope, and it was a little spooky, and some people didn't like it, and I like lost some subscribers over it. Like, wow, people are so finicky. You really can't please everyone. But anyway, it was a fun episode. We had a lot of time doing it. We talked about some really spooky, mysterious stuff about not only like the parasitic origins of vampires and how you know, the elites of the world tie into that, dragons, even reptilians, like stuff you're not supposed to talk about. The whole thing was like shadow banned pretty good because it was like pretty bad. And then we eventually eventually went and started talking about the Pope, undead Pope, super crazy stuff. I didn't know any of this stuff before we dug into it for the video, so it was really a really interesting time. I hope you guys will check it out. And then also, while I was gone, I also did a video with Aaron, the Eyes for Truth, here on the YouTube community, also known as Light of His Kingdom on Instagram, and he is the Aaron of Aaron's Mixtape, which is like my rip-off of JT's content that I did using a material sent to me by Aaron that he has curated on Instagram. And then we got to do an interview together and just kind of talk about his journey to faith and you know, his inception into research and belief in the little season eschatology stuff. And it was a really great talk, so make sure you guys get a chance to go check that out. I really had a nice time, and we'll be definitely having Aaron back on for like a legit mixtape where we will look at the videos together and talk about it, and hopefully JT is not mad that I'm stealing his thunder. It's a special event. It's a special thing. We'll do it like just for Aaron. But anyway, with that being said, yeah, definitely check out those videos. And then let's talk about this whole pie in the sky thing. So I'm sure if you're an American, you've probably heard this figure of speech before, like it's a pie in the sky idea. And I grew up, you know, hearing that, especially because, you know, my grandpa was from, you know, Iowa, and like he had all these weird little quirky things he picked up growing up, you know, living in kind of the you know, 50s, 60s America. He picked up a lot of those little, you know, phrases and things. And I think that's probably where I heard it the first time, was a pie in the sky idea. And I always understood it, you know, basically to mean that it was something that was kind of unrealistic. Like it was an idea that was preposterous or unrealistic in the sense that you're not going to be able to deliver that, or you're never going to be able to sell people that. Like, hey, I got a bridge to sell you. Right. So apparently there's more to it than that. And it's really quite interesting. So apparently there's a song from, well, it's from like the early 1900s. And they call it the pie in the sky. But the pie in the sky is kind of the, whatchamacallit. It's the more nice way of the song. It's the nice version of the song, which is actually called The Preacher and the Slave, which is a song written by Joe Hill in 1911. Remember that? And it was written as a parody of the Christian hymn In the Sweet By and By. Copying or using the musical style of the hymn was also a way to capture the emotional resonance of that style of music and use it for a non-religious purpose. So this kind of talks about, this guy basically wrote a parody, you know. Song is referred to as Pie in the Sky or Long-Haired Preachers, which was its original title. Anyway, the long story short of it is we'll check out the song. You know, we're doing this for education, fair use, whatever. And plus, I don't care about copyright. They don't monetize this channel anyway, so let's go. I'll share this with you guys, and then we'll check out the lyrics as it goes.
You will eat by and by in that glorious land above the sky. Work and pray, live on hay. You'll get pie in the sky when you die. That's a lie. Long-haired preachers come out every night, try to tell you what's wrong and what's right. But when asked about something to eat, they will answer with voices so sweet. You will eat by and by in that glorious land above the sky. Work and pray, live on hay. You'll get pie in the sky when you die. That's all
right, so we don't need to listen to the entire song, but you get the point, right? It's some old times hymnal parody song. And when you read these lyrics here, you really kind of find that they're basically doing what anybody does. They're making fun of the promise of heaven, the coming kingdom of God, right? When preachers come out and tell you, well, things aren't going good in the world. I'm hungry, I need something to eat. And they'll tell you what you look forward to is this glorious land in the sky way up high. And I just thought, that is intense, dude. They're talking about this understood promise of the coming kingdom of God, and that when you get there, you'll have everything you need. But this is kind of like an atheistic, I don't like that idea. Yeah, it's just your excuse, you evangelists and your you know, ridiculous ideology. And it's just funny to me because, like, look, it's like I mentioned before when we were looking at it, right? Written in 1911. Do you guys know what it looks like in 1911? Let me see if I can find it. I think it's this. This is what it looked like in 1911. So it's a very different world than it was, than it is today. Very different world than it is today. But it's very interesting to see people, from a world where things looked like this, complaining about, things that seem far off and unrealistic. I mean, if you look at the cityscapes of today and their abysmal appearance, it basically says that you're especially doomed now, because if a kingdom in the sky was unrealistic compared to a world of people who lived in the material imprint of such kingdoms, of such a place, this is the influence of that place that creates magnificent structures and stuff, right? And then these people are so already removed by the 1900s that they can't even imagine a coming kingdom of God. It's a pie in the sky idea, a nonsense, unrealistic. And now when we look at the actual definition that we were given by AI here, it says, pie in the sky means something good that's unlikely to happen, such as an unrealistic plan or a false promise. The phrase refers to a distant, unattainable hope, as it originated from that 1911 song by Joe Hill that criticized the church for promising heavenly rewards instead of addressing present-day needs. Meaning an unrealistic or improbable goal, plan, or promise. His plan was to become a movie star, was just a pie in the sky. He had no acting experience. Essentially what we're getting at is, again, like we said, it's based on this time in the early 1900s when people were doubting faith. Right? It was a tough time in the world, the transition. I mean, look, anywhere from the 1800s, the 1900s, those are tough times in America and around the world in general. And you can see why, I mean, even living in the aftermath of those magnificent kingdoms and people under the influence of that prior millennial reign, as you guys know, even living in this, it's like they were still so detached by this point in history, by the 1900s or so, that the idea of a pie in the sky, as illustrated by kind of the joke that we're making here, but it's really derived from something, right? You look and you see pie in the sky like this, and in my mind, it goes par for the course with the whole idea that there's a heavenly Jerusalem that descends from heaven, and it's super magnificent and unbelievable. And the Bible says that this is going to happen. This is part of the Christian belief system, and I think maybe believers forget this, or people in the world have only seen like maybe the Catholic version of Christianity, and they don't realize that like the whole story of the Bible concludes effectively with, Christ bringing down this magnificent holy Jerusalem city. That's kind of it's part of the central belief system. The kingdom of God is what Jesus talks about the whole time he's on the earth. So again, the idea that a kingdom of God would come down to earth has been seen as preposterous by people, 100 years ago or more. And today, is it any different? If I mention to the world that the Christian faith has a central element which includes effectively a UFO of Jesus's kingdom descending down from the clouds. Look, I know I make a joke about it because it's a pie in the sky, but literally, why would the authors of the song use the term pie in the sky if they did not literally mean that a giant saucerous kingdom UFO thing was expected to come down? It's almost like if you backtrack to the 1900s, let's go back and look at our picture here. You backtrack the 1900s, these were a type of people who were less removed than we are, to the point that they understood that although the idea, the premise of a coming kingdom of God coming to earth, the premise of that is not as far-fetched to them as it is for us, in that they understood at least the basic principle, which is that this kingdom is practically like a UFO coming down. Like they understood that it was a pie in the sky back then. You ask a Christian today, they don't even know what New Jerusalem is. They don't even know about the supposed pie in the sky thing at all, let alone that it's basically a giant UFO. Sorry, I was drinking some water. Anyway, so it's very interesting to me that we have people in this old world, so to speak, who are removed from this history the same way we are. At some point in time, they were separated. There was a reset, if you want to call it that, and they lost their history. But even then, they were closer to that old history than we are to where they were less removed in such a sense that they would write songs mocking the Christian faith, because even the people who didn't believe in Christianity knew more about it than people who know about it today. And that is amazing. Not in a way that I think is cool. I mean, it's a marvel to understand how since 1911, we're talking about 100 years, 110 years, that we have gone from people who even the non-believers knew the basic understanding that there's Jesus and salvation and resurrection and kingdom. And then the kingdom descends from the sky like a pie, like a big dish coming out of the heavens. Even the naysayers knew about it. And now here we are living in the modern age, and most church people, most Christians, I can't even qualify as a Christian, honestly. I don't even like the term. I hate to say that, but what Christianity is in people's mind is like what I illustrated here in the thumbnail. It's like the Pope. It's Catholic Christianity, which is just a weird, usurped religion. There's an entire episode to put out about that. Like, you know, it's very unpopular to call Catholics or Catholicism a problem, but Christianity in general is an issue, and we'll get into that more. It's more of the stuff that I know I'm not supposed to talk about, yet I do anyway on this show. But anyway, the gist of what I'm trying to get at is that back in the ages past, people understood that Jesus Christ preached the coming of his kingdom. That was his central message. Jesus Christ never preached the cross. He never preached self-sacrifice to be a blood atonement. Although it was prophesied, it was never his message. You know, Jesus Christ, the man whose title we derive the term Christian from, Christian, we derive that title from him. He's the central teacher, and he taught about a kingdom. He taught about a pie in the sky. He taught about a promise that people couldn't believe, that he was going to bring down to earth a heavenly kingdom, that there was going to be, you wouldn't know where it was coming from or where it was going. You wouldn't know how to describe it, but he kept saying it over and over again. The kingdom of heaven is like this. The kingdom of heaven is like this. He kept talking about it because he was trying to get his people to understand. He even said, to them I speak in parables, but to you I speak plainly. He tells people like Nicodemus, stuff like, if you want to enter the kingdom, you must be born again. He's not talking about if you want eternal life, you must be born again. To enter the kingdom. That's the pie in the sky. It's not just a crazy, kooky, unbelievable idea. It's a promise of a descending heavenly kingdom to earth. And that was Jesus that taught it. And now I look at Christianity today and think, I don't qualify as a Christian because that is not what Christians teach. That is not what Christians preach. The focus of Christianity today is very little to do with what Jesus was teaching and everything to do with the cross and atonement for sin. And I'm not saying that's not important, but y'all are missing the pie. You're missing dessert. The whole reason we showed up for this dinner. And maybe that's just me. But I know that the story ends, the narrative ends, the Bible ends, the dinner ends with pie, my friend, dessert. And that is central to what it is to be a follower of the way of Jesus. It means that you believe something's coming, you know. And of course, we know futurist doctrine is always about that it is coming. It's always this belief that it will be here one day. And that is the traditional modern Christendom approach, that this kingdom will come, Jesus will come, okay? And of course, we've done a lot of research into alternative theories, little season eschatology, the last season of Satan, that we call it, and things like preterism, never go full pretard. And we've talked about this stuff at length. Gunnar Heinsohn and the 30,000 archaeological sites, the strata data, massive cataclysms spread across 700 years, but all pointing to the first century. The work of Josephus and Tacitus. We've looked at so much stuff over the years. It's undeniable. And so we get to this point where we believe that it's possible that Jesus really did speak the truth when he told his disciples, the men that lived and walked with him, that they would not see death before they saw the coming of his kingdom. This pie in the sky is going to appear before you die. That's the message. So if we want to believe that's true, if we want to be the guy that believes in the impossible promise, I have to think that that really already did happen. That Jesus was telling the truth, Tacitus and Josephus recorded it, so did others. It's written, there's all these stories, the dangerous, elusive hagiographies, of which most are BS, but some are totally crazy. There's stuff here you can't touch. But when you do, you learn a few things. One of the things I learned is that this stuff right here, we'll go right back one more time for it. This was not built by people with donkeys and carts. And I will not have myself gaslighted or insulted by any person who thinks that's the truth. This stuff is not the product of people with good, fair intentions. I've seen the state fair. I know what kind of pig hogwash. I know what goes on. There is no budget for this, and there never has been a budget for this. This is what it's called when you found something. The founders, of course. So I'm not trying to recap you all on a giant spiel about, little season eschatology, other than just to say that we have been told crazy things, and we have believed crazy things because faith will do that. Trusting Jesus will do that. It'll take you beyond what seems reasonable. The Holy Spirit will reveal to you truths that you couldn't have found any other way. And that's what this is about. It's about growth. It's about movement. The journey of life is not about the destination. It's about the journey. It's about the growth and the refinement that takes place as we move forward and we learn new things and we leave things behind and we take on new things. It's a process of metamorphosis. That's why Jesus said that narrow is the way, because it infers a path, and a path infers a journey ahead of you. So we know that as Christians, we're supposed to be moving forward towards something. I just think that maybe we've gotten unplugged and forgotten what that something really is. Arriving at the doorsteps of the church, dipping into the river with the pastor, getting that baptism, accepting Jesus Christ in your heart is not the end of the journey. It's the beginning. And we always talk about the journey, and everything God can do for you, walking with you. That beautiful poem, The Footprints in the Sand, And it was during those times when you felt the most alone that it was I who carried you. Oh, I could cry. It's so gorgeous. Wow, it's so pretty. Whoever wrote that, you get props in my book, man. There's only one set of footprints, Lord. Where were you during those toughest times? My son, it was during those times that I carried you. Whoo! Shh. Hallelujah. Anyway, it's a journey. And there is a destination. The journey is here. The destination is kingdom. It's what the story ends with for you and for me and for Jesus and for all of us, for the world. For the old things had passed away, right? And there were no sorrows or weeping or death or crying because all the former things had passed away. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. That is the end of the story. That is the pie in the sky. Okay? And so it doesn't matter what you really believe about the world right now, about how rough it is outside, or whether you're hungry or not. I mean, it's really, isn't that crazy pertinent right now with how everybody's worried about not getting money for food stamps, right? It's a big topic of discussion right now. And there's this idea, what are we supposed to eat? And somebody like me, some long-haired pastor comes up and tells you, well, the thing is, we don't look for the comforts here in the world, man. Our focus is destination kingdom, bro, and they hate you for that. It makes people so mad that you're not offering right now solutions to their problems. And I totally understand that. I understand that for sure. Because we got problems right now. And we're looking forward to something that you can't touch or taste or see. Even Jesus says that it's like the wind. You can feel it, but you don't know where it comes from or where it's going. The kingdom of heaven is this spirit, okay? And I'm not saying that it doesn't look physical, because when the spirit of the kingdom lives inside people, your towns look like this, okay? And I'm not debating that with anybody. Why is my road full of potholes? Because it ain't kingdom here. And why are there no roads in Sierra Leone? Because it ain't kingdom there, brother. And the reason that the roads suck everywhere is because they're not paved in gold, because we don't have a surplus of gold, because the world is ruled by capitalism and not kingdom. okay? Again, but I digress. The long story short of it is that no matter what you believe about eschatology, futurism, presentism, post-millennium, amillennial, G-millennial, Q-millennial, I don't know. Or you're full pretard. Oh, we're already living in God's heavenly kingdom on earth. I saw that the former things had passed away. Look how perfect it is out here. There is no crying or death. What are you talking about? Never go full pretard. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make here in this first spiel of the evening, the I guess you could say the nice half of the show, is that I think it's important that we remember that we are looking for something in our destination that is a kingdom. It is a pie in the sky wild idea, and we already know that. You know, we're blessed to be of a generation of God's people who are not oblivious to that. We're not just out here playing church Sunday service because we want to and we like the way it feels and we like to be around other people that like Jesus. Okay, that's a good feeling, but we're part of an eternal kingdom citizenship. We are on assignment from the King of the universe. It's very different than playing church. And bless you for understanding that. Bless the Lord for downloading such understandings into my mind and yours. And ultimately, again, this is what we're trying to get to eventually, but what about right now? And this is a solid question. Solid question. Because these people in the world who aren't getting food stamps this month, regardless of whether they deserve it or not, or how, whatever their body mass index is or whatever, which is all semantics, people are hungry and they want food and they want to know why there isn't any food. And here's the thing. The church can try to tell you that the message is wait for your heavenly bread. But what people don't understand is that when Jesus was on the earth, he fed those crowds. He produced gold when the tax collector came. So Jesus Christ was not broke. Jesus Christ was not starving. Jesus Christ was not powerless at all. And he wanted his people to understand that they were not either. And when the time came, the Holy Spirit came upon these disciples. These guys saw immense power to heal and to cast out demons and to do miraculous things of which Jesus Christ said we would do greater things than even those that he had done. And that is an incredible statement to make. That's something the church has forgotten. So when I look at pictures like this and I see this inexplicably good thing, I think to myself, why not? See, America can't afford this. It's 40 trillion in debt. Africa, the various nations of Africa, India, nobody can afford to make their world look like this. You know why? Because they ain't kingdom, bro. And so what I'm getting at is something that we've talked about a lot on this show and something that we're going to talk about even more because I'm going through a sort of metamorphosis to where I'm starting to feel like there is nothing more important to talk about than the kingdom. And not only its imminence, but its current presence. No matter what, even if you're waiting for the day that Jesus Christ returns to the earth, that he brings down a giant golden pyramid or whatever, you might be waiting for that, and maybe I am too, but that doesn't matter, okay? Not because it's irrelevant in the grand scheme, but look, when you arrive at the destination, you're no longer on the journey. Are you at the destination now? No. So the destination, although it is important, is not what we're doing now. You see, a building and a city like this, landscapes like this, architecture like this, does not appear overnight. This is the product of a journey. Worlds that look beautiful. Polished marble sidewalks, gorgeous statues and frescoes. And this isn't even the best example. This is just a random one I pulled because it's 1911, the same time when they wrote that song about how dumb everyone was for believing in a pie in the sky idea like Jesus was going to make the world better and bring his kingdom. How dumb you are for thinking that. Is there anything new coming from the detractors? It doesn't matter whether they're churchy people or atheists. They're just going to talk crap because they can't wrap their head around the simple principle of the fact that the kingdom exists in your heart and your soul, and then you build it. Who built the kingdom? We look at this whole thing, we're like, whoa, the millennial reign of Christ already happened. Jesus Christ kept his word. Tacitus, Josephus, the tribulation, the disasters, the 30,000 archaeological sites, the strata data, archaeology, bam, all this stuff. And you're like, the millennial reign really happened. How do you think it happened? You think Jesus just showed up, snapped his fingers, all the enemies died, the temple fell all over everybody, everyone crushed to death with stones, all of God's people are ascended into heroes, and all the enemies' eyes explode out of their skull, and instantly the whole world is a beautiful Gold Street marble palace city? Come on! People have to do work. The Bible's all about work. It's all about getting somewhere by doing something. And I think that's why we've seen such a massive push for the do-nothing doctrines in modern Christendom. Just wait around for things to happen. Let the pastor handle it. Just give him your money. The prayer team will take care of it for you. You just need a bunch of mediaries between you and God, right? You need a pastor. You need a worship team. You need a whatever community group. You need all these things between you and God because you aren't good enough to have a relationship with the king of your own country, your own father. The diminishing of your identity and purpose is the prime responsibility of the modern corrupt church that tells you that you're supposed to be like a seat warmer and a tithe bucket filler. It has nothing to do with you being empowered by the power of the kingdom to go forth and battle demons and destroy the forces of evil in the world, which is what Jesus made you to do. You were designed to come here and be ambassadors. What is a ministry? You are administering the rule of Jesus in the world. That is what it means to be kingdom. The kingdom enters your heart, and the kingdom flows out in your life to everything you touch and everything you do, and to the standard in which you hold yourself and everybody else. And it might be preposterous. It was preposterous then when Jesus Christ was on the earth teaching that message. Let's get to work. Let's do a kingdom. I'm bringing the kingdom. You're going to be a part of it. Get born again. Change the way you think. Repent. Enter the kingdom. Repent and believe in the words of Jesus when he tells you that the kingdom is coming. You know what I mean? It's all going around in a big circle, leading back to the idea that it doesn't matter if your cities look like this or if they look like inner city Chicago. Your job is no different. It doesn't matter if it's Destination Kingdom. Tomorrow we wake up and the pie in the sky comes down and we all rapture. It doesn't matter because today your job is the same. It doesn't matter because who you are today is the same. When we entered into this relationship with Christ, we didn't just become followers of some nice prodigal return, some teaching about how we're going to turn our lives around after we were on the streets acting bad. We're talking about a complete recalibration of the personhood that we have. You're not just some loser in the world that you didn't make it as a pro basketball player, so you don't matter. All the definitions of the world's success are wrong. All the systems of the world are wrong. So no wonder you're not succeeding in them. They go against your nature. You know, it's like our nature is not sin. We were created in God's image, and then sin corrupted us. So even the church teaches, well, sin's part of our nature. That's a lie too. Start believing that you're a monster at your core. Yeah, I'm sure that's great for your psyche. Manifest that. Well, sin's just what I am. No wonder everybody's so screwed up. But this is the crap they teach you all your life. Wait around, do nothing. Expect that something will happen. That's the real pie in the sky. That everything will just be okay if you just wait around for God to eventually show up and do something. When that is the least empowering thing I've ever heard. It goes completely against all of the scripture and even the teachings of Jesus himself. You should be able to get money for the tax man. Give unto Caesar that which is Caesar's. You should be able to feed 5,000 people. You should be able to cast out demons. You should be able to do all this stuff. Why are we not successful in those things? Well, it's because people are not performing kingdom. They're performing church. They're performing democracy, capitalism. The reason you don't rule anything is because it's Satan's system on the books. That's the biggest problem that people are having a hard time dealing with right now. Oh, they can't afford food. Oh, the gas is too much money. Oh, the income tax, the property tax, the insurance, everything's so expensive. Everyone's being bled dry by the system. Whose system is that? Is that God's system? Or is that some sort of counterfeit? And that leads me into really what my next thing is, which is basically that I am I've hit a critical impasse. And by that I mean that over the last couple of weeks, I got really close to snapping. I was so tired and I had so much on my plate and so many things I was working on. I just needed a break. So I took a little break. I got a lot of videos done, and then we spread them out, some premieres and stuff. And I took a break. I had about 3 weeks or so since I've been live with you guys. Maybe two full weeks, which when I do it every week multiple times, it felt like a decent break for me. And I'm back. I'm glad to be back. But, it's like I've had some time to think and consider. When I first started this channel, I was angsty and angry, and I said a bunch of things that I don't regret, but I didn't say them right. I didn't feel like I was anything other than just pure passion unloading. And then I started out really trying to be better, be a better witness, a better influence, a better speaker. Not just not to be so caustic, right? Just try to be a little less volatile, a little less brash and overbearing, as I've been described, which you just can't fight your nature. And I am brash and overbearing. I am passionate to a flawed extent. And I spent a lot of time in the last year as this channel has grown and as I've done this main character show and as I've done the Sunday service. And I've had a long stretch here of trying to really find out, what's the right thing to do. You go to work, you don't freak out at work, you don't talk about politics. There's certain ways you behave yourself in certain environments because it's respect. And you do that on purpose. You deliberately try to be a reasonable person, easy to deal with, maybe a positive impact on the people around you because you have that opportunity of people listening to you. You don't want to ruin their day with negative BS, right? You want to be a positive impact if you can, because when you say positive, it doesn't just mean good. It means progressive, towards, not politically progressive, but towards what the purpose is, right? It's the journey. We're trying to move forward. We're not trying to get stuck in a rut. Like when we found out that the earth wasn't the shape they said it was, and so many people were freed by that, liberated, brought to Christ. Praise the Lord. That's the method by which Jesus entered their mind and heart through a discovery he led them to. Amazing. But is the end all be all the shape of the earth? No, it's a stepping stone. And there's a lot of these situations where we find out something new and we dig into it, we're super into it, and it's all we think about and all we talk about. And it's like we forget we're on a path, that we're going somewhere. And going somewhere means things change, things look different, sound different. We're going to go through high times and low times, people who stand with you and people who turn on you. That's part of change and growth. That's part of the journey that we're on. And I've been on this journey for a little over a year now, actually trying to figure out, what am I allowed to say? Really. It's not because I have a lack of opinions. It's not because I have a lack of insight, but it's because I'm not sure what I'm allowed to say. I'm not literally. And I mean that in such a way that I've been on the cutting edge for so long. I'm sure if you're a Q-tard, you're having a freaking field day because of how much things have changed, right? Remember, saving Israel for last. The social media discourse regarding Israel, you used to be a pariah for bringing that up. I'm talking about, people would attack you. People would set your car on fire if they found out you said anything about Israel because you're an evil Nazi. And you couldn't even critique the actual war crime. You brought up USS Liberty, they think you're an anti-Semite and a liar. And American soldiers died on that. Well, American sailors died on that ship. We act like that just didn't happen. I lived through that. I've been awake for a long enough time that I watched when you couldn't talk about stuff like the shape of the earth. Well, now it's on Facebook and everyone's debating it. You couldn't talk about the guy with the mustache being not who they said he was, because you were horrible for that. Literally, people would try to hurt you over it. I've watched as things have changed. It's a field day now. Everyone's on here screaming about Netanyahu and everything, and it's great, okay? We're progressing. We're moving. We're changing. Things are changing. And I just think to myself, how do we move? How do we change? Somebody has to be a leader. Somebody has to bear the burden of consequence. And this is kind of taking what I'm trying to say and making it long, but ultimately, I am prepared for consequence. I spent the last couple weeks really thinking about this. The price to pay for speaking the truth, and the price that many people have paid in the past for speaking the truth. And it almost seems like it's too great a price to pay to ask any normal people to do it. Only someone like me, as unhinged as I am, as absolutely lost in the world as I am, only I can, because I don't have anything to lose. I have no future in this destitute, failing economy, in this belligerent horseshit government, fake elections. There's no future here for me or my kids or grandkids. It's a moot point. And instead of just lying down, because this is the tragedy of it all. I know of young guys my age, many of them friends with my brother, military guys with all the promise in the world, taller than me, bigger than me, more muscular than me, more vigor than me, more connections than me, more opportunities than me, and they're not alive anymore because they saw how bleak it all was, and they checked out. They said, I quit. And I can see why in the face of how bad everything is. It seems like there's no future. There's nowhere to go. But then I think, why just lie down and die? Why quit? There's nothing else you can take from me but my life. I'm not giving it up. I'm not giving it over to the enemy. I'm not giving in and accepting defeat when we were sent here as agents of victory, of the kingdom of light and victory. And so I'm not here to lie down and accept this for nothing. This is where all this is coming from, and I'll tell you guys a little bit about this. There's been a lot of controversy over the last few days over the fact that Tucker Carlson did this interview of Nick Fuentes, you know. And people are really mad about it because he's platformed as hate monger, okay? And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that that's the reaction to simply letting a guy speak, especially when most people don't even know what the guy says. I had to listen. I wanted to hear what he had to say. I decided to listen to it for myself because as a critical thinker, I'm not just going to be told it's the most anti-Semitic podcast you've ever heard and not listen to it. In fact, that makes me want to listen to it more. But the point I'm trying to make is that I needed to see this for myself, and I had like the clouds parted for me for a moment, and I saw the light, and I'm going to tell you about it right now. So we'll talk a little bit about this interview. But first of all, I just want to make a point to say I'm a logical person. Maybe a little bit kooky, maybe a little unhinged. I may be like a weirdo. Like, why are you laughing like little girl? Like, I try to be the best me I can. It's not easy. I'm kind of rough. I'm brash and overbearing. But I'm logical, okay? I'm a results-based person. I'm an evidence-based person. So for me, even faith in God was difficult because I need to see some substance. I don't like tantalizing ideas about fantasy lands. I want real stuff. I don't want pie in the sky. I want pie on the table that I can stab with a fork and eat. And actually, I don't even really like pie that much. Can it be a cheesecake? Is cheesecake a pie? That's the debate. Is cheesecake cake or pie? You decide. Anyway, so pie in the sky, right? I'm a logical person. So Christianity itself is pie in the sky. I can't be convinced of a flying spaghetti monster. You know what I'm saying? I was very hard pressed to believe Christianity from my logical mind. Okay, because as we're taught through the church, a very strange worldview that's kind of mystical and weird. And there's not even a talk about Holy City. It's like a group of people who are obsessed with a storybook that they don't even really read, and then pastors and leaders just make up what's going on, and everyone just accepts it and believes it, and then asserts it to everyone else without questioning. It's really crazy. Why would you want to be a part of that? I don't know. Again, why I can hardly qualify as a Christian anyway, except for that I declare Jesus the King of Earth and the Son of God. That's the root of it all. Anyway, I have always been a logical person and prided myself on that I like answers and solutions and results and material stuff. I'm the kind of person who in the past would have made fun of people for their pie in the sky idea because I want results. I don't want a fantasy about how you're going to make America better. I don't want words. I want action. I want cheap gas. I want cheap groceries. I want the enemies defunded. I want the national debt destroyed. I want you to keep your promises and not make your slogan, promises made, promises kept, because you are a liar. I have standards. I always have. They were intellectual standards before they were moral. And now that they're moral, they've combined into a very high standard for myself and everybody else. Kingdom quality, that's what we call it. But anyway, I had so much trouble understanding that. So much trouble realizing how material and how logical Christianity really was because I wasn't getting the real information. I was being gaslit and fed this spoon-fed version of the truth by all these teachers and preachers who are unqualified and illegitimate by my assessment. And so when I go to assess anything, I'm looking for the fair shake. Is Nick Fuentes talking about pie in the sky stuff? Maybe, maybe not, but I need to know. I'm not going to be told by someone else what to think about something. I will watch the moon landing footage myself to see how cringe and crappy it is because the whole thing is fake and gay. I will decide that. I'm not going to be told by some fat black dude that the earth is shaped like an egg or a pear. Shut up. Anyway. We're going somewhere with this. The point is that Tucker Carlson interviews Nick Fuentes and the internet blows up. Conservatard America, retardicans eating their own about how Tucker Carlson's the biggest anti-Semite threat in America. And it's just, face palm, my hand through the back of my head because it's all so ridiculous. But the point is, I'm not a big fan of Tucker Carlson, I never have been. I mean, he was the Fox News guy forever. And even back in my kind of Trump days, he was just a guy who read the news, shared some opinions, but it was just news. You know, I never elevated him as some kind of a deity. But I never forgot that throughout that time, he made $40 million a year at one point. And Tucker Carlson's a guy who's made more money in 2 years of his life, in 1 year of his life, than most people alive today will ever see as long as they live. Combined. Probably combine this whole thing, not talking about all you, but this whole chat's not worth $40 million. Unless I'm wrong, forgive me. Patreon.com/thecultofcon if you're at all interested. We also have PayPal. At thecultofcon@gmail.com. Anyway, so $40 million a year, like you're not the same as me, man. So I just don't, But I wanted to see this interview. I don't know Nick. I didn't know anything about him. And I'm going to come out and say that this is going to sound bad, but just hear me out. Listen to what I say, not what you think I say. I'm kind of inspired by Nick Fuentes, okay? Hear me out. I know that's like, what? Okay, just hear me out, okay? And maybe that makes me contrarian for saying that, or maybe I'm like with the masses. I don't know. Look, I don't care if either or both of them are controlled opposition. None of that is actually what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is basically like the backstory of this guy, and the basic story of it is that when Nick was a young guy, he went to college. He'd come from like a primarily like white conservative-ish area. And when he got to college, he was a kind of big Trump guy, conservative, and he got a lot of pushback and people were after him. And he saw a lot of that like ugly political discourse, but it was new for him. He'd never seen that before. He's a few years younger than me. I think he's like 25 or something right now. So he's a younger guy. And he was going through all this right at like just as a young adult, going to college freshman year of college, getting in all kinds of trouble with activists and stuff. He did some debates that got him some notoriety, and he got brought in by Right Side Broadcasting, which was kind of like the fringe Republican news network. They were doing all the election fraud news and all that stuff back in the day, and Nick had a show on there. And primarily the reason you even know the name of this guy, I mean, sure, everything's a stage, it's all Masonic theater, God only knows who this guy really is, but the story on paper is that Nick Fuentes was just really brash and outspoken. You could probably have called him brash and overbearing. That probably would have worked. And he was just extremely unapologetically conservative. He thought America was great, America should be a certain way, America had this history that should be preserved, these demographics that should be maintained. It had these statutes and things that have been screwed up, and he wanted it to be brought back. And remember, this is like 2016, 2017. It's before a lot of people were big on like the whole America first mentality. People were still on that sort of like rhino, neocon George Bush style mentality about war in the Middle East and spend all the government money on bombs, And so it was a very stark thing for conservatism to run into a guy like Nick Fuentes, who at the time was considered basically far right because he believed in like moderation of immigration and private property rights and going beyond small government, but also like, seeing like just repealing crazy overreaching government. And basically he was like more conservative than the conservatives, and it bit him in the butt. His initial kind of, we like this guy, he debates, we like what he has to say. I've been down this road. People come to the channel, they like, I feel like this guy's talking some sense, and they come around. But then you're a little too much for him. And so they're like, I can't handle that guy. He's too edgy, he's too far, whatever, he's too whatever. I can relate, okay? But the point is that Nick Fuentes is like a young guy, 20, 21 years old, messing around with stuff he doesn't even know what he was messing with. He's a young guy. stirring the pot, causing trouble, talking about things he's not supposed to talk about. I can relate. And he experienced some significant problems in his life, like more than I ever have. I talked crap a little bit and some guy headbutted me in the face and I had to get reconstructive surgery, and it was really jarring for me and caused me to have kind of like a PTSD about how quickly people can turn to violence because they're so fragile. You just say a little thing and they'll try to kill you over it. I became well aware of that when I was like 16. So I've always admired people who had courage, blind courage or otherwise. And this Nick Fuentes guy, whatever, regardless of whether you knock his beliefs or not, if you even know what they are, you probably need to watch his show, because I'm sure most people have just heard an echo chamber version of what he said. But watch his clips and listen to him. It's like, I have a hard time disagreeing with most of the things he says. If that makes me a bad guy, so what? I'm over it. We've gotten to the point now where if people like him are going to blindly go diving out onto what they believe is true, as right and wrong as he has confidence and is pursuing it. Whereas everybody else is the do-nothing doctrine, sit around and wait for somebody else to make a change. Oh, Trump will fix it. Oh, Jesus will come back. You're always waiting for somebody else to do something when the Bible tells you to work. Work. And I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, I did everything I could all my young life to avoid having a job or going to work. And now I finally have a job I like. And I have to risk throwing it away because that's the price you pay for speaking the truth. So Nick Fuentes, young guy, he gets thrown off of Right Side Broadcasting because he's not pro-Israel enough. He goes on YouTube, starts his own little channel just like this. He starts running his mouth every night of the week, 5-6 nights a week. He goes live every day. No cool thumbnail. No integration into conspiracy world. The stuff that I do, whether I put in a lot of work or a little bit of work, I try to make these episodes special every week. I try to put a little flair, a little something different. I don't want to sound like a broken record. I don't want to just hammer the same thing and make everybody get sick of it. But a guy like him, he's so passionate about what he believed, so passionate about his outlook on the world and the country that he wants to see saved, that he'll say the same thing every night of the week, 5 nights a week, even if people hate him, even if they call him racist, even to the point where this guy got debanked. He couldn't even use his own money. Not because he violated some finance laws. It had nothing to do with like a Securities and Exchange Commission investigation. No, they just didn't like what he said. So they locked him out of his own bank. And it goes farther than that. They put him on the no-fly list for a year. He couldn't fly a plane inside the United States for a year because of what he said. And man, I'll tell you, conservative ideology, American nationalism. I mean, that's basically what you could say his worldview is. Catholic, conservative American nationalism. If that's such a threat that they're going to debank you and put you on the no-fly list, I think to myself, man, a lot of people don't like that guy because he's so far right or whatever. My belief system is that the entire U.S. system of elections should be thrown out. My belief system is about usurping all governments and religions on earth. My belief system is about a complete totalitarian overthrow of all power structure on earth. I'm the farthest right person on earth. That's what I am. And I'm like, if they're going to cancel him for whatever his America first mentality, where do I fit in? They're going to have to kill me. And I have for the last year and a half or whatever been on the platform, talking, tiptoeing around, getting closer and closer to the inevitable, that pie in the sky ideology that the kingdom is here now and that we should be living it and asserting it and not putting up with any more bullshit anymore in the world. We should be doing that. That pie in the sky is cooking in my mind, and I can no longer sit here and act like what I want to do is talk about various little subjects every night. There's only one thing that matters to me now. And if this guy is going to basically ruin his whole life in pursuit of his, 21-year-old America first mentality, his American nationalism, which is just such a small drop compared to the extremism of actual radical Christianity, the true teachings of Jesus. You can see how the Romans, Herod, and the Pharisees all wanted him dead. Why do you think that was? You think they just thought he was disrespectful? You think that because Jesus taught a message that just, it didn't sit well with people at Drag Queen Story Hour. The people wanted him dead because he was bringing a usurper kingdom that was going to overthrow them. And these were sane people, Romans, Pharisees. And I'm not saying they're good, but they had establishment. When I bring up Drag Queen Story Hour, when I think about those people will kill you. Those people are freaking unhinged. And those are the kinds of people that I have to go around in life worrying about offending. I can't speak the radical truth because I'll lose my job, the only job I've ever come to love. People will attack my house to destroy my beautiful Bama lamb, all to get at me because I said words I shouldn't have said. And you know what? I sit here and I think about it. There are people in this community, people who I thought were my friends, who have unsubscribed from me and or canceled a Patreon subscription and or gave me a big old comment or an email about how they're against me now because my thing. And it's like, you know what? The only thing I've ever done is get more and more honest with you. The only thing I've ever done is get better at articulating what I was trying to say and care less about offending you. Like, if that's so bad, I'm sorry. But the reality of it is I can't worry about offending people anymore. I can't worry about my boss firing me. I can't worry about being debanked for the whatever little money I have. I can't worry about any of this. I can't worry about pearl clutching anything. As much as I love all of you people, I'm not going to be able to please all of you. And I will say or do something that makes me an extremist or a crazy cult leader on the internet, or I just can't get behind that violent worldview. Whatever your brain cooks it up to be, whatever the message that I didn't write, it's not my teaching, it's not my kingdom, I'm not king of anything. This is just the truth as it is. And that's going to offend people and make them hate me. And I'm just thinking to myself, why have I spent a single moment worrying about that? There's only one thing that actually matters in eternity, the pie in the sky. It is inevitable. It doesn't matter whether we're waiting for the kingdom or the kingdom already came or that we're in some sort of mid-kingdom or none of that matters. The story ends with New Jerusalem descending down from heaven, a massive, ridiculous pie tray, a world-breaking scenario. And whether that's happened in history and it's some preterism situation, it doesn't matter. Because what you're supposed to do today is still the case. And now I've gotten to the point where are people going to get bored hearing me bash my head against the wall saying the same thing over and over again? It doesn't seem like that was much of a problem for Mr. Fuentes, who had a 186,000 person view stream on Rumble. Rumble! Do I need to go on Rumble? Do I need to be on Kick because I can't be on YouTube because I'm too offensive? I can't get monetized on here for the light things that I've said. What happens when I just say no filters? I'm just going to say it like it really is. I don't care if it offends you. What happens when that happens? I won't be long for this channel. I won't be long for this platform. But the question is, what's more important? Tiptoeing around trying to please people, corporations, demonic systems, evil governments of men, go around trying to appease the status quo, degenocrats, retardicans, and every other dumb little niche idea group in the world, religions, Catholics, Muslims, Hindus, Buddhists. I don't give a flying crap about anyone's belief system or their stupid national flag or their stupid language or nation of origin or skin color. I don't give a crap about any of that. There's only one thing that matters, and it's kingdom. This is a kingdom for all races, a kingdom for all nations, a kingdom for all language. And when this whole situation we're looking at right now goes tits up, and it will, when this thing crashes out, where are you going to turn to for the future? What is your destination? Because the future as you know it is gone, dude. There's no future for 20-year-olds being able to afford a house in this country. There's no future for auto loans lower than 18%. Oh, you know, they're doing 96-month financing options now. Does that sound like a thriving country, or does that sound like a debt camp, a slave train, hamster wheel? It's getting worse and worse by the day. I don't need to sugarcoat it or try to go on a diatribe about how bad it is. I think we all know. So are we going to wait around for somebody to show up and make it all better? Or are we going to start being realistic like grown-ups and say, look, we got to clean up this mess. The rubble strewn all over the streets has to be picked up brick by people who are willing to do the work. Trust God. Take the risk. Do the work. That's the method. That's what it means to be a kingdom citizen. We don't look at the world in turmoil and say, well, I guess that's just too powerful for our king and kingdom. We'll have to let Andrew Cuomo or whatever deal with it. You know, it's a sense of impending powerlessness that is an abject lie from the enemy, and I'm not going to tolerate it anymore. I know a lot of people in this community and around the world are members of the Christian background who grew up in church and learned to be very passive and very tolerant and very inactive. And I'm not trying to condemn anybody for that. Again, if you're going to be a churchy person, I've always said you should be allowed to go do church, Sunday service, worship team. Not everyone's calling is to resist evil, okay? Some people are supposed to like knit blankets for poor people, okay? I'm not telling you that you should pick up a sword. But I think that there are enough warriors who are ready to pick up a sword that the time is now. What is the choice for a young 25-year-old guy out of the military with no girlfriend, no job, no house, no future? He kills himself. Can there not be another option? Kill yourself or the kingdom, okay? I'll take you. I'll give you a reason to live. I'll give you something to fight for, something to live for, something to die for. CDM. That's what's missing in the world right now. So Nick Fuentes, he's willing to have his life destroyed. He can't get hired anywhere. You think he's going to get a job at Walmart when the person of color reads the job application and sees him? Oh, a Nazi. I'm not going to hire him. He couldn't get a job at the lowliest McDonald's in the country because when his name comes up on the background check finder, he's going to be listed as a no-fly list extremist. And so this guy, he dumped his whole life, and no offense, you know, but that ain't it, bro. America first? A piece of crap like this that bombs everybody and robs everybody? A horrible nation of sin. A wretched Babylon of our age. America first? Babylon first? Go suck one, man. I'm sick of this crap. Here's the strategy of Nick Fuentes. This is the cocoon bursting open of my inspiration and saying, hey, I can do that, but for a real cause. He saw Conservative Incorporated. They were ushering him in. You're so eloquent. You're so intelligent. You could really own the libs. And they were encouraging him to come into the Ben Shapiro fold so he could be part of Daily Wire and be a good conservatard. And he said the wrong thing. He said, oh, I don't like all this immigration. I think we're losing our demographics of what makes this country great. And he always said a bunch of offensive things. And they said, well, he's unhireable. He's not conservative. He's too far right. But he thought to himself, look, I'm not going to be able to fake it. I'm not going to pretend to be an institutional Christian, or an institutional, in this case, institutional conservative, so that I can be accepted into mainstream conservatism and then try to do damage from within. I'm not going to compromise my passion and my beliefs in order to be acceptable by a rotting, false representative, a controlled opposition faction that claims to represent conservatives in America. That was his strategy. He said, you know what? That thing's ugly, and I am going to attack it. That was his strategy. And you know what? It's made him incredibly successful and incredibly well known. And I would argue that the self-sacrificial, to better or for worse, he's destroyed his own life in pursuit of this. His pursuit of America first, kind of like no BS conservatism, has brought so many people the courage and the confidence to come forward and say, you know what, I agree. I think America should be a certain way, and I don't want to be told to feel bad about it. I never contributed to the bad. I'm here to pick bricks up and put them back where they belong. I didn't tear down the building. I didn't do any of the damage to the world, but I'm here to fix it. That brought a lot of people to the forefront. They really like him. Everyone's like, oh, they hate the effect of his movement so much. They call everyone Nazis and groypers. They came up with all these terms to try to make you look stupid. You don't know anything. Wow, where have I heard that before, you bunch of flurfs? Where have I heard that before, you bunch of little seasoned retards? Everyone out here believing their dumbass conspiracies, you Q-tard. Every sort of group has a ad hominem thing to say about you because you're dumb for believing it, and we're not going to look into it at all. Well, if I just believed Nick Fuentes was a giant Nazi and that he was leading a gang of ignorant, mouth-breathing groypers, then I never would have heard anything he said, which is 99% true. I've yet to hear a single thing that he said that wasn't resoundingly true. And so I sit here and think to myself, if he's resoundingly accurate about America, demographics, culture, social, all these things that are important. It's like when we talked about the 7 mountains of society and how they represent each a giant portion of how the world is run by these education systems, entertainment, news media, government, school, all these different things. They contribute to what culture is at large. And he's talking about all of them except for the one that's the most important, the religion one. You know, because he's not out here saying Catholics should be supreme over the earth. You know, and I wouldn't like it if he was. But the point is, this is a guy who, you know, essentially, did my chat freeze? I think the chat froze, guys. I don't know why it's frozen. Let's see if we can fix it. But anyway, well, that's weird. All right. Anyway, if you want to talk about all this stuff like, you know, demographics, culture, all that stuff, I'm for it. I have an opinion on all that stuff. I can weigh in on government and politics and money and wars and domestic and foreign policy and national identity and all that stuff. I have an opinion on all those things, but I'm not passionate about politics. I don't care about conservatism, Democrats and Republicans. I don't care about U.S. politics because all this is a thing of the past. We're living in the moment when all of this stuff dies, dude. The failed human governments of men are going to die. The world as we know it is collapsing as we speak. You know, and for better or for worse, but we're going to have to make the jump sometime. A parallel system has to exist. And there's going to come a point where you can't spend United States dollars. You can't watch Netflix on your TV. There's going to come a point when the critical infrastructure of this system, and I don't just mean the power grid and the water supply. I'm talking about culturally. The fabric of society is gone. People are not held together by anything anymore. Think about it. Your neighbors don't look like you. They don't believe in what you believe. Everyone around you has their own idea of how the world should look. Everyone around you has a ridiculous, and let me make a point. Okay? Because you have people that are like Nick Fuentes who get labeled a villain, and he is actually a more reasonable person than I am. Nick Fuentes believes in stuff like civic debate. He thinks that people with differing ideas should come together and talk about it, like the late Charlie Kirk. And regardless of what you think about Charlie Kirk, he was like the ultra moderate nice guy, and now he's not there anymore. And now you have a much farther right, more assertive character like Nick Fuentes who's getting all the limelight now. And for whatever good, better, or for worse, I don't care. But what I get from this is that we're moving in a direction that can't be stopped. People are culturally reacting to the way things are in the world right now, and they're moving. Change is inevitable. Life is a journey. People are moving. We're not sitting in the same spot anymore, and the result of that is that people are becoming activated and motivated for political discourse. And someone like Nick Fuentes believes we should have a dialogue. He believes that there should be free speech and civil rights and that we should work to elect proper representatives. That's another big point. This guy believes in democracy, civic systems like elections. He believes in that stuff. He contends for that stuff. So by all accounts, he's actually a very reasonable, democratic American man. And then here's me on the other side. I'm not. And maybe that's just because my interpretation of things is different. But look, this is to me what a debate looks like. It's somebody on the left and they want to have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. We should all eat peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And then someone on the right says, I think we should all eat peanut butter and honey sandwich. And there's a debate between the pros and cons of jam preserves versus the antioxidant effects of honey. There's a big debate about peanut butter and jelly, peanut butter and honey. And the reason that we have this dialogue is because both people are offering a solution to our problem that includes us getting fed a yummy treat. Okay? That's what discourse is supposed to be about. But you know what we have now? We have this expectation to allow people to come onto the various platforms, to stand there on the same stage as you, wearing a suit at the podium, and they are debating that we should all eat a dog shit sandwich. They want you and me to eat poop. Okay? They want dog shit sandwich. And I ask myself, how can we have a discourse? How can we have a discussion with someone who wants to poison and kill us? What? Like we have one group here, we've got the group that says human children, American children, human children are blessed and deserve the right to live. And on the other side, shit sandwich, kill your kids. Oh, we want to have child wives. You know what I mean? Why are we allowing monsters to try to kill us and acting like we're beholden to allow them to speak? Nick Fuentes is soft in my book. Nick Fuentes is tame compared to me. To the extent that, like, if I had it my way, absolutely no tolerance for any worldview like that. Killing kids, marrying kids, trafficking kids, bombing other countries, supporting countries that bomb other countries, giving foreign aid to countries that allow their Boko Haram Muslim government to murder Christians every day. What kind of a piss hole is this? And so I'm over it, dude. I know that a lot of you guys are probably like, oh, he's so brash, he's so rough around the edges. The rest of the world is ready for this message. The majority of America and the rest of the Western civilization of Earth is going to hear the things I'm saying, and they're going to rejoice. Nick Fuentes is soft. Nick Fuentes is kind. What I want is righteous order, and that means no tolerance for evil. Why would we allow the shit sandwich debate? Why would we lower ourselves to act like people who think that babies should die should be allowed to communicate with us? You belong in a cell. You belong in a straitjacket at least. And the same with all these awful, evil, fraudulent religions. I don't care if that offends you. My faith is right. Yours is blasphemous against God and evil. I do not give a fuck. So that's the reality. If it's an Eastern religion born out of plagiarized Christian manuscripts in 600 AD, you're out, bro. Bye-bye. And am I too extreme? No. We have learned from experience what happens when you give tolerance to people. They take an inch and they go a mile with it. And now you look at the mayor of New York City is a Muslim. Does that make me hateful to bring that up? No. But why? What happened? What's the disconnect between terrorists blew up the towers to, it's okay. The open jihadist guy can be the mayor. Of course, you and I both know it's not real. It's Masonic theater. But the effect is real. Just like the assassination of Charlie Kirk, just like the rise of Nick Fuentes, the results of these events are real and palpable. And if you have empathy at all, you understand that that's really affecting people. So I am the first to be like, well, let's not just deny 9/11's reality when people are reeling from the death of their family members who are actually dead. I try to be empathetic. I get caught up in that too. But we also have to be progressive, not in the political sense, but in the sense that we have to move towards where we're going. Where are we going? Destination kingdom. You can't have a country. You can't have a kingdom. You can't have a world where your enemies are in your midst advocating for your death. That is not a civilization. That's a war. And we are in the middle of one right now. Now, if you expand this and go a little bit farther with it, you can see how this has gotten so bad that now many normal people are aware of how bad it is. And so they want reactionary response. And so you see the rise of movements like Christian nationalism because people are desperate to have something to cling on to. They want something other than this sinking, burning vessel that everyone seems strapped to. And I get it. I'm of the same persuasion. But the question in my mind is, who are we going to allow to be the future of the progressive generations? The future of this kingdom? I think if we look at it on a very basic level, we can understand that the forces in our world are not necessarily like, Chris makes a great point, we fight not against flesh and blood. I don't think that our issue is rulers and principalities in this case. We're not waging war against rulers and principalities in heavenly places right now. We're waging war against individuals in our own population group. That sounds insane, but this is not the holy war. This is a culture war for the sake of your civilization. For instance, we have people in this country who they hate you for various reasons, and they have created an unlivable double standard. Here's the example. There are individuals in this country who have committed crime after crime after crime. They've been released time after time after time, and ultimately these people go on to do horrific damage, irreparable damage to families. You know, there's one guy that kidnapped a little girl, cut her head off. There's a guy that stabbed that girl on the bus, terrible. And this kind of thing, the kid that stabs the kid at the track. I could point out 1 million cases. Chicago has 3,000 dead people a year from endless murder. The country is in total turmoil. The world's in total turmoil. There's no denying that. And it's obvious that it's because we're going somewhere we shouldn't be going. We're allowing things we shouldn't allow. And the problem is not criminals. The problem is not bad actors, because bad actors do what bad actors do. Am I mad that a 17 times criminal did what a 17 times criminal does? I'm not surprised. It's like you find out about the murder. Elderly couple murdered in their home, house burned to the ground. You see the mugshot of the guy. They already have a mugshot. They haven't even caught the guy. They're using last week's mugshot to tell you about the criminal this week. And so it's like, look, I'm not trying to justify his behavior, but it's kind of like, does a lion bite your arm off? You know, like, does a cobra poison you to death? Does a shit sandwich kill you? You know what I'm saying? It's like, I get to the point where I'm tired of hearing people try to argue that I can't believe my own eyes. I can't know the demographics and see what's going on. I'm tired of being gaslit by everybody from NASA to the ADL to even conservative America telling me I'm an anti-Semite because I don't want to send money elsewhere when we're broke. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a whole lockstep narrative. It's so frustrating to me, man. I'm just about done with it. I'm about done sitting around. And that's because I do not want to see the rise of this America First nationalism, Christian nationalism, because there's this reactionary ridiculousness to it all. Blame black people. Blame women. Blame this group. Blame that group. It's not about the names. It's not about the color. It's not about the gender. It's about the ideas. It's about the allegiance. People allegiant to a world of shit and people allegiant to a kingdom of light. Jesus Christ says, you are with me or you are against me. It's very black and white. You're in the kingdom or you're not. You're for the kingdom or you're not. And so the world is full of people that are not, and we've been treating them as equals, and they are not. If you're not in the kingdom, you're a foreigner. If you're not in the kingdom, you're a sheep, lost out of the pen. So our world is being run by all these foreigners, for lack of a better word, in the sense that we're dealing with all this geopolitical. But again, let me make one more point. The problem in our culture, in our society, in our civilization, in our world is not limited to bad actors doing bad things. We know that bad actors do bad things. You and I are able to understand the scientific method. We have a hypothesis. We test the hypothesis. We gather the data. We analyze the data. We draw a conclusion. This is a very well understood process. And as someone who's so logical in my thinking, it blows my mind that it doesn't matter whether it's the political left or the political right. Both sides agree that you should not believe your eyes. See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil, my friends, because you can't identify the data. You're not allowed to. We're forced to instead include outliers that are irrelevant, as though those are the case examples. We're told to ignore our eyes, our ears, our own intuition, and even data on paper by both sides of the fake political dichotomy. Both sides gaslighting us beyond all belief, telling us that we need to believe things that simply are not true because they want us all to do what they want us to do. And if you don't toe the line, if you don't follow along, you're racist, you're bigoted, you're hateful, you're violent, and whatever other stupid thing they can call you, to the point where it's like, if people are going to call Nick Fuentes a Nazi, then I must be Mecha Hitler over here. That's the reality at this point. And again, let me make my point and say that I am not mad at criminals. I'm not mad at Muslims. I'm not mad at immigrants, illegal or legal. I don't care. We're all poor together, man. I don't care if you're on food stamps or not. We're all broke on the same broke bus, bro. I don't have billions of dollars. You don't have billions of dollars. Nobody around here has billions of dollars. The battle is not for whether or not Jamal has food stamps this month. The battle is for the soul of the human population, for the existence of civilization itself. And so I'm not mad at whoever is arguing over petty shit. I'm mad at the judge who let that criminal go because they knew better and there's no accountability. I'm mad at Karen in my neighborhood telling me I should shut up because I'm racist. She's the one that wants to bring criminals into the neighborhood. She's the one that wants to import them from a foreign war-torn country. It's your own people. It's not black people, even if they are the major crime demographic. No, it's Karen slamming the gavel down and telling them they're good to go after 17 priors. And who holds Karen to account? Who tells the judge, Judge Karen, that you're under arrest? You just released a murderer who killed an old couple and burned their house to the ground. You enabled a treasonous act against the country. It's almost as if human rights, human lives don't matter in the Constitution of the United States. Although it's written on paper, the Constitution is a glorious asswipe for the political elites in this country. More than half the states in the nation have laws infringing on your free speech or Second Amendment rights, and nobody involved in the administration has been held to account. You'd think the day Trump got into office, he would formulate some kind of a constitutional convention. All these states are in violation of the Constitution. You have 48 hours to come into compliance or you will be charged with treason and you will be hung in a military tribunal within 48 hours of that time. What is this pussyfooting around? I know the world was a medieval place just a moment ago. I know that people got burned at the stake and impaled by Vlad the Impaler. I know that not even that long ago, they genocided millions of people in Europe in World War II. They've genocided tens or hundreds of thousands of people in the Middle East. There's something like 1.2 million Afghan casualties as a result of our involvement in the Middle East. This has gone too far, man. The whole thing has gone way too far. I'm just over it, bro. I'm not going to do this anymore. I cannot sit idly and be quiet and tiptoe around. Maybe, just maybe, I'll go down in history as a super extremist, and as I go, I'll pull the Overton window, and then all of you can have a real conversation. People like Nick Fuentes can lead the debates where we listen to the points of the abortionists and say, well, man, you do have a good point there. Babies, it's not a human. I'll listen to the child wife argument. Well, Islam has a good point about child brides. If that's what you want, if that's the future you're heading towards, elect Nick Fuentes for president. Because as it stands on the surface, outside of me, that's as good as it's going to get. If you want justice and you want order and you want righteousness and you're done with BS, then you got to hitch your wagon to me. That's it. Because that's it, dude. I'm not here to talk about conspiracy theories anymore. I'm not here to gallivant around and have fun. I'm only alive right now because God made me for a reason, and I have no doubt in my mind that this is the reason. I got a pie in the sky that's coming down here, bro. And we're going to build it. Just like when Christ returned in the first century, he ordered his people to work and they built the kingdom then. You and me will build the kingdom again now. And so the question is, will you recognize this now or will you recognize it later? Because I'm not going to do go to cemetery school where the truth goes to die. Go become a pastor of a small church, make some churchy connections, write a book, Amazon bestseller, rise within the church ranks, and then break rank and question, well, maybe we should consider listening to the red words of Jesus. What if we did a teaching on the red words of Christ? Oh, no, that would be against the doctrine. We wouldn't dare listen to the red words of Christ telling us that the kingdom is now, which was 2,000 years ago or whatever. Man, I can't do it. I am not going to be able to move and adjust to be compatible with the failing church. The failing church is going to move and be compatible with me. We are moving forward. For all the young men who don't see a future, for all the little kids who don't yet know that they don't have one, for all of you people who have lived and worked away your lives not knowing what tomorrow will bring, you're at the end of your rope. You don't have any money. You don't have any savings. You don't have any future. Who's going to take care of you? This is it. This is our opportunity. So for all these young guys who think the only option is death, no, there's another choice. The other choice is kingdom. And I mean that. I mean that now, and I mean it more than ever. I'm not coming here anymore to talk about frilly little frou-frou things. It's time to change the world. It's time to fight back. We were not given a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of authority. Authority. And so we're going to wield that authority. Who should make the decisions in the world? Christians. Why? Because they're the only ones who know the right from wrong. Who should rule the world? God, through Christ, through his people, through his church. And I don't want to hear any ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you're in a church and you want to be a churchy Christian, you keep doing it, and I will be out there fighting for your right to do so. Okay? You're not going to have to worry about a big mosque moving in across the street and blaring some loud satanic chant at full volume. Those days are over. We are moving in towards a real resurgence. You ever hear the word revival? We've never seen a revival like this before. We're talking about true kingdom, authoritative Christendom, decided and guided by spiritual wisdom, knowledge, and truth. We're not going to have a debate stage that shares with people who want to murder kids or marry kids or any of this other crap. Those days are over. I'm a man of logic. You bring me an argument of logic, and I'll hear what you have to say. But if you come to me with a logic of heresy, of fallacy, of satanic, selfish, nonsensical, carnal delusion, I will shut you down. No more. The word tolerance, get that out of your vocabulary. Those days are behind us. Which ain't going to be anything about diversity, equity, and inclusion. This is about to be about singularity, disparity, and exclusion. We are going to build the parallel system, and as the world collapses, everyone will beg for a chance to get on our boat. And that is when we will decide they will enter, right? We now own the Amazon alternative. We now own the Netflix alternative. We now own the banking alternative. We now have a parallel government. And we will win by virtue of the fact that we can lead by example, which is exactly what Christ told us to do, and it's exactly what he did himself. So as we unify together, despite our eschatological differences, despite our theological differences, as we come to the understanding that there is one God and one Jesus, one King, one kingdom, one church, okay? We will sort out all of the church's problems. The foreign beliefs, the falsehoods, the Satanism, the corruption. We'll sort out all that stuff, and then we will sit down together at the table and find out who's got the right theology about what day the end times come. But you better believe you ain't going on any island voyages. You ain't having any kind of a decision. You're not making choices from a position of slavery here. You need to be in a position of dominion, and that is what we are about. So for all the young men out there who don't have a future, the young women who don't have a future, for all of you people who have spent your life grinding away and don't have anything to show for it because you have been robbed of your best years, I feel for you. I understand your plight. And I have a pie in the sky idea to sell you. We might just be able to make the world a better place. Why? Because Jesus Christ said that we would do greater things than these. Referring to his miracles. You think we can't top that? You don't think we could do better than this? Ponte Monumentale? I guarantee you we can. And I guarantee you we will. So, that might sound like a pie in the sky idea, but it's inevitable. It's how the story ends. How do we go from where we are to a new heaven and a new earth? Where in the Bible does it say, snap your fingers? God snaps his fingers and everything's better. When in any time in history has it just overturned overnight? Even the Exodus, it took them weeks to get out of there. And then they wandered the desert for 40 years. Do you know why they wandered the desert for 40 years? Because they had a generation of do-nothing people who liked the old way. They liked the old gods. They liked the old customs. They liked the beast machine. They are the Karens of our age. They are the judges of our age. They are the religious institutions of our age. It is the people who in the world today like it rotten. They like a shit sandwich. And they're not ashamed to say it, so you have no problem identifying who they are. So the question is, how will they identify you? How will anyone in the world look at this shit sandwich we've been given and say, I want something else to eat? I want bread and fish. I want wine and bread. I want gold. I want streets of gold. I want cathedrals, and I want massive palatial estates, and I want flying cities again. I want pie in the sky, and I'm going to have it because it has been promised to us by Christ, and it shall be yours. That's a pie in the sky, and it's not a pie in the sky that's not happening. It is happening. My whole life, I always just wished somebody else did this. I just wished somebody else had the courage to say, look, I'll be the bad guy then. I'll be the extremist. I'll be the one who makes Nick Fuentes and Hitler look soft. If that's what it takes, somebody's got to do it. And if that makes me the bad guy, then you can just unsub then, you know. Nobody can stop this. It's too late. I've already gone too far. I've already come too far. We already have a name. We already have a brand. We already have a website. It's like in 5 seconds, we're going to be on every national news center. They're going to be talking about this. This is the greatest threat to modern democracy. This is the most anti-Semitic thing anyone's ever seen. It's the most racist thing you've ever heard. All the other religions are going to be blowing up the chat with millions of comments, thousands upon thousands of Indians leaving comments saying that you're full of shit, you would die, we'll murder you in the streets, whatever. Like, bring it on. Bring it on. Because that's what happens when you stir the pot. The demons are going to squirm. They don't want to hear the truth. Jesus Christ is king. Every tongue shall confess. Every knee shall bow. That's a fact. I'm not here to say that because I like the idea. I'm here to say that because I've been enslaved by it. I cannot live my life considering the next video game console release. I would have loved to have just spent the last year's money on a brand new computer loaded with a 4060, and I'm playing Arc Raiders all night. I'm on my Twitch stream. I'm not concerned with politics. Yo, I just got that new upgrade. I just made it out a huge raid. So much loot. I'm so rich in game. I could be watching the next sports ball tournament. Oh, did you hear how whatever team, he got MVP? It's not at all scripted. Did you see that guy drive the NASCAR along the wall and win the race? No one's ever seen anything like that in 20 years of NASCAR. That's because it ain't real, man. I can't jive with it anymore. Politics, fake. Religion, fake. Sports, fake. TV, fake. Hollywood, fake. Movies, fake. Everything is fake. There's only one thing that's real in the world, and that's the kingdom. And just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not waiting to come up from the ground, to be built with your hands. God has empowered each of his people with gifts, with knowledge, with wisdom, with a spirit of love and power and authority. And let me tell you, there is nothing more loving than setting things right. You look at the people in the world that despise you, the various belief systems, the various entrenched powers, the corruption, the government, the churches, the religions, the institutions, the politicians, everyone. They're evil, entrenched, and hate you. How do we love our enemies? Do we slaughter them all? Or do we force them to live a better life? We say, I am not asking permission to make your life better. I am not asking permission to make the world a better place. I am not asking permission to bring order and righteous justice to the world. And I don't care if 1,000 Christians, 1,000 Muslims, 1,000 Jews, 1,000 atheists all come against me. The only person who can end my life is God. Fear that he who can destroy your body and soul in hell. Everyone else is dust and air. And I'm not going to become dust and air and have spent a moment of my life beating around the bush anymore. The world needs leaders. The world needs people who will go out on the front line alone if they have to and say, this is the truth, and I will not shy from it, and I will not back down, and I will not tolerate anything less than correction, order, and righteousness. The world will receive his kingdom, and it will be ready to receive his kingdom. For the former things shall pass away. How do you think it happens? You think every bad guy on earth just dies all at once? You think every bad religion just disappears in the blink of an eye? You think God just wipes out the whole world and then somehow you're just reseeded back into it? I never heard anything like that. I see a path where we're here and kingdom is there and we are going to go from here to there. And you can either be along for the ride or you can sit back and watch because it's coming, baby. Destination kingdom. The pie in the sky. And I don't care how ridiculous it sounds because every day we're getting more momentum. And very soon this will be an international organization. And soon after it will be the guiding principles of all nations on earth. Period. In Jesus' mighty name. That's about all, guys. I mean, I really don't know what else to say. Destination Kingdom, be prepared. It's going to start sounding like the Kingdom Show. It's going to start sounding like the Extreme Kool-Aid Kingdom channel over here. And I'm sorry if that doesn't sound like what your cup of tea is, but I don't think there's anything more important than the world that we're currently facing. The conflict we are currently embroiled in, the necessity to band together, the responsibility to stand against evil, and the absolute certainty that we will prevail in Jesus' name. Our weapons of war are not tools of destruction. They are implements of construction. Together we will build the kingdom and show the world where the true glory and power comes from. Not from the governments of men, not from democracy and its failed systems, not from the lies of the world's religions, but from the true power of God's kingdom in the heavens as it descends down to the earth, as we receive it as willing and happy people, welcoming that holy city. When I see a kingdom UFO in the sky, I want to say, welcome to your home, Jesus. We will be his people and he will be our God and we will dwell among him. This is a promise. Don't condemn me for saying things that sound bombastic. Read the book. There's only one way this story ends. Absolute victory, destination, kingdom. And we have a journey to walk together, brothers and sisters. As preposterous as it may sound, as unattainable, as unrealistic, as unbelievable as it is, we will make the world a better place. Because it's God's plan, and his will shall be done on earth just as it is in heaven, in his holy name. That's what we pray for. And that's all I really care about anymore. So if I have to lose my job or lose my life, at least I'll die knowing I fought really hard. Because I waited all my life to see somebody fight really hard and I just wasn't seeing it. So here I am. You know, you had Charlie Kirk and they killed him for one reason or another. He's not around. So now you get Nick Fuentes, and Nick Fuentes, to whatever end you may have him for. But now you have me. You deserve me. And just know that although I am brash and overbearing, extremely passionate and very vitriolic and upset about the whole thing, it's not who I am. It's what I have become. It's what the world needs right now. So you want to get to Sunday service, you want to sit quietly and read the word together and figure out when things happen or sort out our differences among brothers in the faith. Oh, I would love to do that in the quietest conversation that you could have and have a nice quiet discourse in a nice quiet world. But we're not living in a quiet, nice world. This is a war zone. So you got a wartime general. Love it or leave it, okay? I love you guys. That was a little bit much, but whatever. I'm nuclear. I'm going to become much more radioactive as time goes on. You're going to see me start popping up on the internet causing trouble. That's what the world needs. It's time to push the discourse further. No more shit sandwiches on my stage, all right? I love you all. Thank you all so much for being here for level 67 of the Main Character Podcast, made possible by the Cult of Khan and powered by the Christian Dominion movement. Because the truth should not just be declared, it should be imposed, right? I love you guys. Again, sorry if it's a little bit brash, but we have a fight to finish, and it's time that we get to work. Love you all. Take care. I'll see you all next week. God bless. All right. What? Oh, man. Of course, I'm now having technical difficulties. Sorry, no party bus. Enjoy the scroller.
It's a con and I'm your man, you know I tell it like it is. I hold the secrets in my hands. Reflection and introspection is my profession. I'm recklessly disrespecting what you expect and investing in my discretion, teaching the lessons, impressions to keep you guessing what I do next, man. I'm a man, I'm a king, I'm rejecting what you think, rearranging your mentality, got some Kool-Aid you can drink. It's a scam, it's a plan, it's a con and I'm your man, you know I tell it like it is. I hold the secrets in my hands.
They went forth to the center of the earth, surrounding the camp of the saints and his beloved city. And the fire of God came down from heaven and devoured them. The devil who had
Let's
deceived
go.